Hello students, I want to explain the addition and subtraction of rational expressions. When we analyze rational expressions, the first is to look at the denominator and to define if we have a problem with same denominators or a problem with different denominators. In the first case, if you look at the denominators, that are these expressions over here, 2x minus 1, we have same denominators. When the problem is a problem with same denominators, is very easy. Now it's a little bit more difficult when we have an exercise where the denominators are different. So you look at the denominators in this second case, and you have different denominators. Basically, the rules to do the addition and the subtraction are the same. So I am explaining here two examples of subtraction, because usually, in the subtraction, as we have to reverse some signs, it could be a little bit more difficult. But it's just basically the same thing to do the addition or to do a subtraction of the rational expressions. Well, the problem is this: when we define, that the expressions are expressing with the same denominator, we say, okay, if my denominator in both expressions is 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1 is a common denominator. So if 2x minus 1 is a common denominator, what I have to do is to subtract my numerators. So which are my numerators? My first numerator is 3x plus 5 minus my second numerator is 2x minus 2. So I am subtracting my second numerator from my first numerator. I have enclosed both numerators in parentheses because as we have a negative sign, you're going to see how we have now to reverse the signs inside the second parenthesis. I mean the signs of the second numerator. So basically now here, when I remove the parentheses, well, I have my denominator 2x minus 1 here. So I say there is an invisible positive sign here, so the signs of 3x plus 5 are going to stay like that. So we say 3x plus 5. And then, as we have this negative sign in front of the second parenthesis, when we have this negative sign, that made me reverse the signs inside the parentheses. That's why now 2x, there is positive inside the parentheses, becomes minus 2x. And the negative 2 becomes positive 2. Now we're ready to combine the similar terms. So combining similar terms, we say 3x minus 2x. It will be x. 5 plus 2 would be 7 over 2x minus 1. And that would be, in this case, my final answer. X plus 7 over 2x minus 1 over 2x minus 1. Now let us look at the example. We have different denominators. So when we have different denominators, the first is to find what is the least common denominator. In this case, we know that the least common denominator, contains, remember that the least common denominator when we are working with algebraic expressions would be the simplest expression that is divisible by all the denominators that are involved in the problem. So that's why now we define as least common denominator here 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. Once you define, that your least common denominator is 2x plus 3 times x plus 2, you say, well, what I want to do now is to get my two expressions, right, with that denominator, with that common denominator, 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. So now you will look at the original exercise and you're going to say, okay, in my first fraction, when I look at my first denominator, what factor I am missing to have my least common denominator as the denominator of the first fraction. I have the factor 2x plus 3, so I am missing the factor x plus 2. But when you multiply the denominator by x plus 2, you must do the same here with the numerator. Because whatever operation do you apply to the denominator, the same operation must be applied to the numerator. Now, when I look at the second denominator here, I say, okay, what is the factor that I am missing to complete my least common denominator? I have the factor x plus 2, so I am missing the factor 2x plus 3. And if you multiply the denominator by 2x plus 3, you have to multiply also the numerator by 2x plus 3. So now we're ready. We have our new numerators that are, in this case, 5 times x plus 2. And the other one is 2 times 2x plus 3. So we can now write this as a single expression, so combining now the expression, because we have common denominator 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. We are ready then to write the numerator 5 times x plus 2 minus 2 times 2x plus 3. Now it's time to apply the distributive property here. So we'll multiply 5 times x, 5 times 2, negative 2 times 2x, negative 2 times 3, using the distributive property. So what I have now here, 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 2 is 10, minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x, minus 2 times 3 is negative 6, all over 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. So now combining similar terms in the numerator, you say 5x minus 4x, that will be x. 10 minus 6 will be 4, positive. So we have x plus 4 over, and then below I have 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. And that is the result of the subtraction of these two rational expressions with different denominators.